So a good centering is a great start to any of the processes you do. Clears your mind, allows you to return to being of service to your higher self and in innocence, the two critical components of any of this work. So maybe just to open up the question, why would you use a spirit guide meditation? Why would you use written guidance? Who's got some ideas of why you would? What would you use it for? When do you would use it? Who's used it before? Great. So, okay, who hasn't used it at all? All right, fantastic, Dee. Great. So what are some of the reasons you might use it? When would you use it? Martine?
I would use it if I had a particular question or a decision to make that wasn't readily coming to me, or even something that was giving me a little bit of a challenge, a hard time. But I've also used it without those reasons. Simply started to write just to tap into what my higher self wants me to know.
Great. Yeah, fantastic. Good. That's a good reason too. What else? Anybody else got anything to add to that? Oh, sorry, there we go. Beverly?
Yeah, I use it every day doing my choices because I really like sinking into the baby in the crib and then sink into the void. And then throughout the day in circles when I feel tension and draw a circle. And I absolutely love writing and I love the energy of the group. So whenever I have an opportunity and I'm able, I'll jump in on one of these groups because I just find it creates magic for me and my energy flows incredibly. So thank you, Guy. And
Great.
I loved your earlier meditation.
Oh, you're welcome. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we're getting some good ideas of using it. Anybody else got any other reasons? Kay?
Yeah, I use it when I want deeper information about an offering I'm coming up with. If there's something else I need to know about it, the people I'm working with, that type of thing.
Great. Okay, to get to know more about people or situations or offerings. Yeah, great. Fantastic. That's a good one. Alex?
I use it when I sense myself being, for a couple of days at a time, trying to figure things out, being logical, being analytical, being rational. And I know that there's something so much bigger than me and I just want to relax into it. So I use it for a few different reasons, but this is one of them. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a fantastic thing. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. It's also singularly the most valuable practice of intuition. There isn't a practice that's better than this at practicing your intuition. It's an absolute corker for that. So just as a way of getting into your intuition, this one trumps them all. So how often do people here use it? Maybe just pop it in the chat box. Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, once a month? How often do you use it? Yeah. Twice a week, twice a week, twice a week. Once a fortnight. Excellent. Not yet for some of you. Once a month. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the recommendations twice a week as a way of maintaining your intuition. And 20 minutes is enough. It doesn't need to be an hour-long sort of deep involved exercise. So anywhere from one question and in and out to a good session when you as you say, when you get writing, you can end up writing for an hour or more. It's easy to get into the flow. But don't put any conditions on it. Don't set it up and go, oh, I've got to sit here for half an hour or anything. Go in, and when you're done, you're done. And that's probably the best way to do it. And then it doesn't become a chore. It should never be a chore. So just notice that if you're doing it because, oh, we got told we had to, just pull out and find another good reason to do it. Do it for the enjoyment of it. Okay. The other component that sometimes come up in these meetings is people use it frequently to resolve the tension of not knowing. So notice that there's a tension, a psychological tension that comes up when we go for something that we don't know how to get. And there's a feeling of like, oh shit, I don't know how to get it. I don't know how it's going to be. Now, there's a tendency for some people to jump in and use spirit guide meditation, going, oh, I know, I'll just ask my guides. My guides will tell me. And they're resolving the tension that actually is quite creative. So just be aware that it can become a crutch. Don't ever use it as a crutch because you don't know. When you're naturally holding tension between something that you want, you still have no idea how to get it. That's okay. Use the choice-making process for you to get your next action step, rather than feeling that you're constantly needing to get advice from your spirit guides. So just be aware that is a trap, and not to get caught into that. So what sort of shapes have your spirit guides taken in the past? Who has a number of different spirit guides? Dan?
Yeah, mine's often just an old guy. I kind of think of it as an older myself, or myself in a different place, I guess.
Fantastic. Yeah, great. Martine, what are your spirit guides like?
The first one that I ever had was like, it looked like a white form of the sun, like just sparking, but it could speak to me. I thought that was the coolest one. I've had that quite a few times.
Fantastic. Awesome. Good. But you get a variety of them. Yeah, tremendous. Yeah. So they can take any form at all. But one of the key things is that they talk, though, because that's one of the unique things about this particular technique, is that you don't have to interpret the symbol. You don't have to get some sort of, very vague thing that you've got to make up what it means. The thing about your guide is that they always have a mouth and they always talk to you. They talk to you directly. So set that as an intention that your guide, that's what to expect from your guide, is that they're going to talk to you. I've had animals before, but they've always spoken. And I've had some very strange things. Who's that little guy from Star Wars? Had him once. And my writing was all in his format. It's just really, really weird. It's like I can't write, I can't even talk in that format, but when I read all what I'd written, it was all in that strange format. That was quite fun. Jesus. Yeah, lights, but with a mouth, always with a mouth. So that's it. That's an important component. Just know that your spirit guide always talks to you. And the other question is, what sort of questions have you taken to your guides? Has everybody got a question to take to your guides today, for example? Yeah. I've been collecting a list of spirit guide questions. I'll share those with you if you like, just to give you an idea of some of those. Oh, where's it gone? Ah, there it is, hiding in plain sight. So here's a couple of questions. What do I need to change about myself? What could I be doing better or differently? Why am I feeling triggered by something? How can I achieve my best physical health? What can I be doing to reveal my hidden skills? What should I focus on for my highest good? What are the best possible outcome? I love this one. What's the best possible outcome? I've got a meeting with people that I have no idea why we're meeting with. Like, what's the best possible outcome? And it just sets my creativity off on some of the things that I could be looking for. What are the best foods for my body? How should I take a chance on something? How can I best be true to myself? What actions will serve my highest good? What's really going to make me happy? Where's the ideal place to live? What's finished that I can move on from? How good's that one? We know completion exercise is a very powerful thing. We've got a lot of energy tied up in things that are over and done with, and you just get your higher self to go, yep, here are a couple of things you can let go of now. What can I do to inspire other people? What's going to best promote me? How can I best ground myself when I'm stressed? What things get the laughter back into my day? That's a good one. I really enjoyed that one. That's been inspiring. How can I wake up feeling inspired? How can I best learn to trust my intuition? I got some really funny, sarcastic results from that. I don't know about you, but my guides always have a great sense of humor. And if I ask a real dumb question, I know that I've asked a dumb question, because I just get that wonderful, loving smile, and it's just like really asking that question. You know, you could ask anything in the world, from what did Galileo have as his last meal, and you're asking that. It's like they always have a good sense of humor. What opportunities should I be aware of? How can I connect more fully to my intuition when I need to? What's important for me to know about at the moment? That's a good one. I use that one regularly, just as a thing. So is that helpful? Is that giving you some ideas for today? And there's no limit to the number of questions you can go in, but the important thing is that you go in prepared with a number of questions to ask your spirit guides. So have a pen and paper to hand, because obviously that's an important component, or a Word document open. So everybody got some paper, some pen, something to write with? Yeah, fantastic. All right. And let's go and have a practice of this, and then we'll come back. We're not going to spend a huge long time there, maybe 20 minutes, and just ask a few questions and get some writing flowing, and then we'll come back. Now, I'm going to use a meditation that you may not be familiar with, but it's the one that I learned when I first did this with William, and for the life of me, I can't even find the script for it or where it came from, but it's one that I love, and it'll take you to meet your spirit guide nonetheless. So everybody ready? Anybody's got any questions outstanding from that start? No? All good. All right. So I want you to imagine that you are walking through a beautiful forest. I want you to find yourself just walking through some amazing trees. And take a moment to feel what it's like being in that forest. Notice the ground, notice the leaves, notice the season, notice the bark on the trees, notice the types of trees and the leaves and the shape of the branches. Notice how the sunlight comes streaming down through onto the ground. Just notice it's a beautiful day to be walking in an amazing forest. And after a short while of being aware of your surroundings, just notice you come across a lovely, wide, dry, well-lit path. And feel that compulsion to follow the path. Feel that compulsion to head down it. Find yourself walking along a path through an amazing forest, really smelling what it's like, really listening to the sounds around you, feeling joyful, allowing your arms to swing freely by your side, feeling delighted to be there. And as you carry on following this path, notice that it comes to a fork. And today we're going to choose to take the right fork. I want you to imagine taking the right-hand path. And after a little way, notice it starts descending very gently. Just notice you're walking down, getting lower, like into a little gully. And at the bottom of the slope, notice that you come across this beautiful stream of clear, bubbling water. Just stop to admire this amazing stream of water. It's clear, it's running beautifully. Incredible sound of just bubbling, tinkling, gurgling. And become aware that there's this very natural set of stone steps across the water. And choose to cross the stream Allow yourself to step onto the first step, and then very naturally onto the second and onto the third. Firm, natural stepping stones that take you right across this beautiful bubbling stream. And just enjoy looking down into the water as you cross it, and notice that you are leaving the far bank and coming up to the bank ahead of you. Let yourself cross that stream, and notice that the path continues up a gentle slope on the other side. And as you come up the gentle slope, notice the path takes a turn to the right and heads back up into the forest again on the other side of that stream. Carry on walking up that path and start noticing that there are more and more sounds around you. Just notice there are more flowers and more butterflies and a profusion of bird life. And the trees seem fresh. The earth seems richer. Just allow yourself to start smelling all the scents of the forest, listening to all these beautiful sounds, and becoming absolutely intrigued with all you can see. All the different types of plants, all the different types of trees, all the different types of birds. As you carry on walking down this path, and notice that you're coming up to a clearing. Just notice that the trees stop at a certain point, but the path carries on into a clearing. Notice this beautiful clearing in the middle of this forest. And notice on the far side of the clearing that there is a bench. And standing beside the bench is your spirit guide, who rises and welcomes you, calls you over. Walk towards them and just notice that they've been expecting you. Notice they invite you to sit down on the bench and greet you by name. And notice that they touch you on the forehead as you sit down. And just notice your whole head lights up like a light, filling you with the light of your higher self. And notice your guide is aware of all the questions that you have. And notice they begin telling you the answers to your questions. And allow yourself to pick up your pen and paper and start writing and making up the answers. And just carry on writing until you feel complete with that question. Feel free to ask your guide for clarification and additional questions. Enjoy your conversation with your guide as you sit in this beautiful clearing. Allow your questions to come out naturally from one to the next until you're complete. So just notice the time we set for this is coming to an end, and allow yourself to write down the last words from your guide, and always remember to thank them before returning to the time that we've got here together in a minute or so. And then allow yourself to come back into the room. My spirit guide was humorous as ever. Why so serious? You've just come on this beautiful walk. Aren't you just like full of excitement and happiness? Yeah, I am. It'll show it. Why so serious? Yeah. How was that for everybody? Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Cool. Even those without pictures, good. So sorry, I missed the request to pop a couple of questions in there. One of the things I might have mentioned earlier on when we started, just to frame it up, is that it's always useful to ask your guide an open-ended question as well as specific ones. Specific's great, you know, go as specific as you like, but always give them the chance of telling you things that are in your interest to know. I mean, just imagine for a second, you could know anything you want, but you restrict your questions to current concerns and the boundaries of your mindset. Like, doesn't it make sense just to go, well, let's just throw a couple of questions in there that might be beyond what I'm imagining right now. So open-ended questions are good. Just gives them a chance to really give to you the gift of your higher self, your higher wisdom. It's there to draw on. So always keep in hand one or two good questions, which are just open-ended. And remember, your spirit guides are always there, you know, when you go to them. So treat them with that natural respect and make a point of always thanking them for their wisdom. It's like it's always a good thing just to stay on good terms. Does anybody actually ask their guides for their name? Who's asked their guides for a name? Yeah. It's a relationship you're building. You have, Beverly. Awesome. Yeah, great. Yeah. It's a relationship you're building with your guides, you know, and you sit down there and you take from them and you take from them. But for a moment, do you think to stop and just go, you know, what's your name? I don't always do it, but when I do, I'm always pleasantly surprised, and they always smile and give me a name. Some of them unpronounceable, some of them I remember, some of them I don't. But it's an interesting question to ask. And one of the things about your written guidance is it doesn't always have to make sense right away. Yeah, it's normal to write things down that you think are a bit strange at the time. But when you go back to your writing in a few weeks' time and you read over it, then suddenly it makes a whole lot of sense. Frequently I've written stuff and gone, okay, but odd, don't know quite what it means or why I've written it down. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, I come across it again and I read it through it and I just go, no ways. There's no ways I could have got that. That's phenomenal. Suddenly makes contents to me in the future. Makes sense to my, you know, in context to my future. So that's always a fun thing to do. So avoid questioning what you get. Really get into the habit of just receiving, just accepting it, noting it down, writing it down. Otherwise, you tend to forget it. So writing down is really important as it gets given to you. And of course, the more you practice this technique, the more detail you get from it, the more intuitive you will become. It is an intuitive practice. So any shares, any questions, any thoughts on the back of that? Beautiful. Oh, Beverly, you're on silent, love. You're on mute. Oh, yeah.
I've just got one because sometimes my messages come so fast I can't write them down quick enough. Would you recommend recording or just write in shorthand and hope you can remember later?
I'd set an intention to receive what you need to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And it was brilliant. Thank you. And thank you everyone on the call because the
yes,
energy
lovely
was
energy.
incredible. Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. Well, if there are no further questions, then thanks for joining me. Lovely to have gone through it with you together, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see some of you next week. Fantastic. Cheers for now.